सूर्यकोटि समप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। ओम सदाशिव समारंभां शंकराचार्य मध्यमां अस्मदाचार्य पर्यन्तां वंदे गुरु परंपरां। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्ति भेद विभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्त देहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ओम नमः प्रणवार्थाय शुद्ध ज्ञानैकमूर्तये निर्मलाय प्रशांताय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ओम लेट्स चैंट संकटनाशन गणेश स्तोत्रम। ओम गणानान्त्वा गणपतिं हवामहे कविं कवीनाम् उपमश्रवस्तवं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणस्पद आनशृण्वन् ऊतिभिः सीदसादनम्। ओम श्री महागणपतये नमः। नारद उवाच प्रणम्य शिरसा देवं गौरीपुत्रं विनायकं भक्तावासं स्मरेन् नित्यम् आयुः कामार्थसिद्धये। प्रथमं वक्रतुण्डं च एकदन्तं द्वितीयकं तृतीयं कृष्णपिङ्गाक्षं गजवक्त्रं चतुर्थकं लंबोदरं पंचमं च षष्ठं विकटमेव च सप्तमं विघ्नराजं च धूम्रवर्णं तथाष्टमं नवमं बालचन्द्रं च दशमं तु विनायकम् एकादशं गणपतिं द्वादशं तु गजाननं द्वादशैतानि नामानि त्रिसन्ध्यं यः पठेन्नरः न च विघ्नभयं तस्य सर्वसिद्धिकरं प्रभो। विद्यार्थी लभते विद्यां धनार्थी लभते धनं पुत्रार्थी लभते पुत्रान् मोक्षार्थी लभते गतिं। जपेत् गणपति स्तोत्रं षड्भिर्मासैः फलं लभेत् संवत्सरेण सिद्धिं च लभते नात्र संशयः। अष्टभ्यो ब्राह्मणेभ्यः लिखित्वा यः समर्पयेत् तस्य विद्या भवेत् सर्वा गणेशस्य प्रसादतः इति नारद पुराणे संकटनाशन गणेश स्तोत्रं संपूर्णम्। ओम लेट्स चैंट गुरु स्तोत्रम्। ओम अखंड मंडलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुस्रेव परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। स्थावरं जंगमं व्याप्तं यत्किंचित् सचराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। चिन्मयं व्यापि यत्सर्वं त्रैलोक्यं सचराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। सर्वश्रुतिशिरोरत्न विराजितपदाम्बुजः वेदान्ताम्बुजसूर्यो यः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। चैतन्य शाश्वत शान्तः व्योमातीतो निरञ्जनः बिन्दुनादकलातीत तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। ज्ञानशक्तिसमारूढः तत्त्वमाला विभूषितः भुक्तिमुक्तिप्रदाता च तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। अनेक जन्म संप्राप्त कर्म बंध विदाहिने आत्मज्ञान प्रदानेन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। शोषणं भवसिन्धोश्च ज्ञापनं सारसम्पदः गुरोः पादोदकं सम्यक् तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। न गुरोरधिकं तत्त्वं न गुरोरधिकं तपः तत्त्वज्ञानात् परं नास्ति तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। मन्नाथ श्री जगन्नाथः मद्गुरु श्री जगद्गुरुः मदात्मा सर्वभूतात्मा तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। गुरुरादिरनादिश्च गुरुः परमदैवतं गुरोः परतरं नास्ति तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। ब्रह्मानन्दं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वधी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि। ओम कटाक्ष किरणाचान्त नमन्मोहाब्दये नमः। अनंतानंद कृष्णाय जगन्मंगलमूर्तये अहमस्मि सदा भामि कदाचिन्नाहमप्रियः ब्रह्मैवाहमतः सिद्धं सच्चिदानन्दलक्षणम् ओम। Let's chant Gita Dhyanam. Om पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणी। नमोऽस्तु ते व्यासविशालबुद्धे पुल्लारविन्दायतपत्रनेत्र येन त्वया भारततैलपूर्णः प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमयप्रदीपः प्रपन्नपारिजाताय स्तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः। सर्वोपनिषदो गावः दोग्धा गोपालनन्दनः पार्थो वत्स सुधीर्भोक्ता दुग्धं गीतामृतं महत्। कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं भीष्मद्रोणतटा जयद्रथजला गान्धारनीलोत्पला शल्यग्राहवती कृपेण वहनी कर्णेन वेलाकुला विकर्णघोरमकरा दुर्योधनावर्तिनीं सोतीर्णा खलु पाण्डवैरणनदी कैवर्तकः केशवः पाराशर्यवचः सरोजममलं गीतार्थगन्धोत्कटं नानाख्यानककेसरं हरिकथा सम्बोधनाबोधितं लोके सज्जन षट्पतैरहरः पेपीयमानं मुदा भूयाद् भारत पंकजं कलिमल प्रध्वंसिनः श्रेयसे मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम्। यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्र रुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणा देवाय तस्मै नमः। ओम। ओम श्री परमात्मने नमः। अथ द्वितीयोऽध्यायः। We'll start with chanting verse number 11. We'll end chanting. And up to verse number 15, I will chant slowly. 15 வந்து நிறுத்தி உங்களுக்கு திருப்பி சொல்லித்தரேன். First 4 I will chant slowly. Please chant with me. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Asocyanandasocastvam Pragyavadanscha bhashase Gatasuna Nanushocanti Panditaha. So once more. Asocyanandasocastvam Pragyavadanscha bhashase Gatasuna Nanushocanti Panditaha. Verse number 12. Natvevaham jatu nasam natvam me janadhipaha nachaiva na bhavishyamaha sarve vayamata param. Natvevaham jatu nasam natvam me janadhipaha nachaiva na bhavishyamaha sarve vayamata param. Verse number 13. देहिनोऽस्मिन् यथा देहे कौमारं यौवनं जरा तथा देहान्तरप्राप्तिः धीरस्तत्र न मुह्यति। देहिनोऽस्मिन् यथा देहे कौमारं यौवनं जरा तथा देहांतर प्राप्तिः धीरस्तत्र न मुह्यति. Verse number 14. मात्रा स्पर्शास्तु कौन्तेय शीतोष्ण सुख दुःखदाः आगमापायिनो नित्याः तान् स्थितिक्षस्व भारत. मात्रा स्पर्शास्तु कौन्तेय शीतोष्ण सुख दुःखदाः आगमापायिनो नित्याः तान् स्थितिक्षस्व भारत. So when your sense organs come in contact with the world, matra sparsha, it will produce shita, ushna, sukha, dukkham. These are the reactions. The sense organs being placed outside, it will produce these reactions. There is no escape. That's why they say pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional. So shita, ushna, pain. Sukha, dukkha, optional. Pain, you can take the pain. Tanstitikshasva, you can accommodate the pain. You can take the pain in your stride and move on. How to take the pain in the stride? We did a very elaborate session last week. To add to pain management, there are certain prayers we can do. One prayer is, like we said, see yourself as a very helpless person. I am helpless. I cannot solve this problem. I surrender to you, Ishvara. I am helpless. I surrender to you. What do I surrender? I surrender my complete past to you. May my past be totally acceptable. Let me not will or wish that this be different. Very often when we talk about our past, I wish I had spoken like this. I wish I had not sent this message. I wish I had not sent this mail. I spoke a little too early. This will not get you anywhere because it's already done. It's the past. It's happened. What has happened has happened. Nothing can be done. And by that, that's an action. The action or the outcome is the result. The result can give you Shita, Ushna, Sukha, Dukkha. You send somebody a message, and on you would have put something within inverted commas. They can read it differently. Why did you put it within inverted commas? What was your intention? So, once it is gone, it has happened, it has happened. You can do nothing about it. Therefore, your prayer is, let me not resist it from inside. When you don't resist it from inside, you have to add, there is no room for sadness. It happened that way, so I am sad. There is no room because you have accepted your past. So there is no room for sadness. No room for sadness. No room for depression. No room for regret. No room for remorse. No room for guilt. No room for resentment. No room for anguish. You have to tell this to Ishvara. I accept my past and it outcomes totally. I understand there is no room for sadness. There is no room for anguish, resentment, remorse, guilt, regret, despair. I accept everything totally. The moment you accept it totally, two things happen to you. One is called Drishta Phalam, the other is called Adrishta Phalam. Adrishta Phalam will come to you over a period of time. The grace comes. So acceptance becomes faster in future. Drishta Phalam, you will get immediate relief. Immediate you will get relief. If you are not able to sleep, if you do this prayer, at least you will sleep well without the help of medicines. And the feeling of sadness, that comes inside you will go away immediately. Some counter thought will come. Nice counter thoughts will come. Then next course of thought. Whatever has happened. It could not have happened otherwise. It's more mature. This has happened in my favor. And this has something for me to learn. This is the next level. So if this is the level of the prayer, all our past actions become totally acceptable. You don't blame others. much less you blame yourself. Don't blame others. Don't blame yourself. Don't blame grahas. Don't blame Ishvara. Don't blame Ishvara. Simply say, this event has happened because of my past. Some cause in the past has unfolded this effect. I have acted like this. That is the cause for today's effects. Today I am having deep pain inside because of some sorrow. Rather than which there is no sorrow, you say, oh Lord, I accept this pain. This is a prasada from you. I accept it. Maturity. The pain that has a capacity to grip you will immediately lose its grip. And there are other techniques. You have to actually look into the pain and say, what is this pain? Why this pain? Actually, there is nothing called pain. When some event has happened, when event happens, we are not able to process the event fully. Let's say there is a loss. Either somebody has gone away, or somebody has expired, or I've lost a lot of money. I've made some unwise, stupid decisions. Although the effect I'm not able to process immediately. So the brain pushes it into the subconscious. And every time some similar situation comes from the subconscious, the pain manifests itself. And when the pain comes, what we do? We say, push the pain away. Hey, don't. It again goes away. After some time, it will come again. So it will never go away from your system. So therefore, we have to carefully eliminate that pain. You can't forget the past. If the past is in your hands, you can drop it. The past is not in your hands anyway. You are not holding it. The past is holding you. Therefore, you can't drop the past at will. So you have to take Ishvara's help. And another yogic technique is, look, I am going through this pain. Where the pain is, if the pain is here, okay, this path, it means you have lost something. Pain is because of some loss. This is an emotional impact. All emotional impacts will come here. Anxiety pains will come here. Struggling to speak pain will come here. Choking, anxiety, pain, and other lower pain will release your bowels, or at least that's how it happens. So you have to say, it is paining here. So let me concentrate. What is this pain? What is the source of his pain? Talk to the pain. What is the source? Hey, what do you want from me now? What should I do now? The moment you say, what do you do now? The pain will dissipate. It will lose its power. The pain is there because the pain survives on, you don't know what to do. The moment you say, okay, what do I do now? This action is not possible. This action is not possible. Therefore, I have to accept the reality. Pain will immediately leave you. So, this is one technique. Then another thing is simply pray, oh Lord, may I be able to handle this pain. Okay, this pain has come to me because of some prarabdha. One is called durbala prarabdha, weak prarabdha. You can smile, it will go. Something is called sabala prarabdha, strong prarabdha. It will take a long time to go. So you simply have to say, Tans titikshasva bharata. Learn to handle all these pairs of opposites. It is not putting up, it is accommodating. It is, you have to learn to accommodate. That is the beauty of this system. Tans titikshasva. So verse number 15, let's read. Yam hina vyatayante te purusham purusharshava samadukha sukham dhiram somamritvaya kalpate. Once more. Yam hina vyatayante te purusham purusharshava samadukha sukham dhiram somamritvaya kalpate. So this person, one, okay, yete, okay, these sense organs, okay, the person, some purusham, this person, yam, okay, na vyatayantyete. One, these sense organs do not disturb. Disturb means he understands sense organ, pain will come, but it will not push him off the center. If it pushes him off the center, he will come back, and he will come back to the central resilience. He will come back. He will always bounce back. Okay? And such a person who is able to handle pain and pleasure with the same amount of equipoise. Poise, dignity, calmness. This one prayer we should have. Oh Lord, give me calm, give me calmness, give me dignity, give me poise. So this will help you. You will be unshaken in pain or pleasure. May I have calmness, may I have dignity, may I have poise. May my responses, the way I respond to the pain, may it be an upasana to you. Imagine you are doing Shivaratri Puja and you are offering flowers. You should be able to offer, I am going through pain, I am offering it to you. Look at the level of maturity. It is simply growing in inner, emotional, inner maturity. Okay, and such a person is fit for Amritatva. Amritatva means he is ready for Atma Vidya, he is ready for this knowledge. Okay, so then this knowledge is introduced. They say, what is this? What is this Atma you are talking about? What is this Atma you are talking about? So the teacher says, Na sato vidyate bhavaha, na bhavo vidyate sataha, ubhayorapi drishtontaha, tvanayos tattvadarshibhihi. So, we saw last week. I'll quickly repeat. There is Atma. Everything else is Anatma. Whatever is evident to me, they are all objects of my knowledge. They are all Anatma. I am the subject. I am the knower. So all the objects of my knowledge come under the category of Anatma. I, the knower of that object, is the Atma. Okay. If there are no objects, then what am I? I am in the form of awareful presence. If there is an object to know, I am knower. If there is no object, what am I? I am awareful presence. So when I am in my wakeful state, I am a conscious person. When I am in dreaming, I am aware of my dream. What when I am in my deep sleep? I am an awareful presence, because later on I am able to say that I slept very peacefully. So I am an awareful presence. So what is the nature of this awareful presence? Before we go to that, he says, this satya, that Satvastu is also known as that Satvastu. Satvastu means the existence, that which is. So the existent, the Satvastu never had an absence. That means the Satvastu was always there. It was there in the past, it is there now, it will continue to be there in the future. In fact, past, present, future are objects of the Satvastu. They are not, the time is in Satvastu and not the other way around. So, na, first, yeah, this Satvastu, na abhava, the Satvastu was always there. And Asatvastu was never there. Asatvastu does not exist. So what is this Asatvastu? Last week we saw Asatvastu is known by another name. One is a non-existent thing, which doesn't matter to us. What matters to us is, let's take this object. Okay, we call it a glass cover. Which part of it is the glass cover? Suppose I take this off separately. Does it become a glass cover? No. You say only cover gone, something remaining. Suppose the open shut system doesn't work. It doesn't gone. So when you say glass cover, this is not the glass cover. This is not the glass cover. Without the spring action, it is not a glass cover. So what is the glass cover here? So there is no vastu as such called glass cover. Let's say this is made of plastic. So there is a cause plastic. There is an effect glass cover. The glass cover is known by the name and form function. It is known by a simple name in Sanskrit called mithya. Mithya means that which does not have an independent existence of its own. It does not have an independent existence. It exists totally dependent on the on the content of plastic. Wherever this goes, the plastic will go. You can't say leave the plastic behind, take the cover. So this will go. So they say the name, form, and function is called asat vastu, mithya. That mithya does not have an independent existence. So na asat vidyate bhava. The mithya vastu does not have a permanent existence. And the mithya vastu cannot exist without the content, without the satya vastu. So sat vastu na abhava vidyate. Please understand this way. So from the object, bring it to us. This body is mithya. We will see in the coming verse. This body is mithya. I know the body. I am aware of the body. I am aware of my buddhi. I am aware of everything functioning about me. So that means I am, this is anatma, mithya. Then who is the knower? There is a being, an awareful being who seems to know this body, identifies with the body and functions. So that person, that being is the sattvastu. This is the asatvastu. Asatvastu means mithya. Asatvastu non-existent. We should not say call it non-existent. Asatvastu means it's mithya. Mithya means it does not have an independent existence of its own. It can exist only in and through the sattvastu. That's why the beautiful Tamil expression, when somebody dies, we say sat poch. Sattvastu is gone. What is left here is asatvastu. It does not have an independent existence of its own. It is mithya. So please understand, this mithya never existed. There is nothing called mithya. This body, there is nothing called body. Body is made up of 5 elements. Which part is body? Idu badiya, whole thing badiya. So it is a form, name, form, function put together. That is this body. It does not have an independent existence minus the sattvastu. Therefore, sattvastu was never absent. This asatvastu can never ever claim to be present. Present abdinale always present. If you say temporarily present, we have another name for it. That's called mithya. It is called empirical existence. There is a birth, there is an existence, it dies. So why he says this? Arjuna is deeply attached to all these people. Krishna, he's attached to Bhishma, Drona, brothers, nephews. So he says all of them are bodies. They are all asatvastu. If not in this war, some war they will die. If not, they will die of old age. Who knows, even as he is walking, a coconut may fall on his head and die. Anything can happen to this person. Anybody can die anytime. Therefore, if you are going to attach yourself to the asatvastu and feel sorrowful, there is no way out. Because that's a reality you have to face. Reality is, in life, people will come, people will go. Nobody sticks to you permanently. Okay. Anybody. There are some people, of course, in Western countries, a lot of divorces and all. In India, they say, no, I'm married to this person for 40 years, 50 years. They don't go away. I said, they don't physically go away. Mentally, they have gone away long back. Mentally, after the first 3-4 years of marriage, there is no more any connect there. They say, I'm doing a Kupakoti again because I have got no place to go. Or there are some children who I have to serve. Without me, the children will say, it's just imagination. Without me, children will suffer. Nobody suffers without anybody. They all find their way out. Everybody is an independent, existent person. So therefore, nobody suffers without the other person. So anybody who comes into my life, either they have to go or I have to go. There is no choice. Anything that comes into my life, one day it will have to go away. Anything, any person, any situation, anything that comes will undergo a change. It is anatma, asat vastu. If you are going to attach yourself to an asat vastu and feel unhappy, you have got a very good name. Person is called a fool. Murkha. Krishna says you are a murkha because you're attaching yourself to it. It is like going to a cinema and saying, "Ayyo, this hero is going to die." The movie, like, hero has to die. There is no choice. So this is a movie you're watching. So this asat vastu has to go. It does not have an existence. Sat vastu does not have an absence. So when you are relating to me, definitely you are talking to the package. I am functioning through a package, but you are actually relating to the alive being inside. Okay. Somebody is sleeping. I don't go tell him that I am going out. Okay. I'm not leaving like that. I wake him up and say, "Hello, Putigo." You are interacting with the Sattvastu. If the Sattvastu does not respond, there is no way you can interact. You are responding to the Sat. You are interacting. Two Sattvastus are actually interacting. Therefore, please understand, Asatvastu does not exist. Satvastu always exists. Learn to relate to the, and what happens? One who knows the difference. Ubayaha api acha antaha. Okay, one who knows this truth. Ubaya api antaha. Such a person is who he is a drishta. He is a drishta. He has the insight. And that person who has this insight is called a Tattvadarshi. Tattvadarshi means one who knows the reality. So going back, if I know the reality, I know how to relate to things, events, positions, possessions, people, relatives, non-relatives. I will know how to relate to everyone. I will have full knowledge that I have no control whatsoever over their behavior. I have no control whatsoever over their agenda. I have no control over their thinking. It could be your own son, daughter. You have no control over their agenda. You have no control over what they are thinking. Very, very common. Very, very common. My daughter is a national ranked TT player. So when she did something, from the Reserve Bank, they called me. They said, "Why don't you send your daughter? We will give her employment." I said, "What about test?" Yes, sir, you just have to appear for a test. Based on her certificate, we'll employ her. I called my daughter and said, "Would you like to go?" She said, "I will go nowhere near your bank." The Reserve Bank, safe job. She said, "Good power. Say Reserve Bank person in a family is good enough." I don't want to. She's gone into the private sector, works from 9 to 9. And now I was telling this to her husband when I was there. Said, "Thank God I didn't join the Reserve Bank." I said, "Why? In that case, I would have never met Pawan Navdina. So I would have met somebody in the Reserve Bank. I got a good husband." So they are very smart. So their total thinking there. So people say, old people, you should get married within the first 18 months, child should be born. Now the girls come and say, "What is the need that a child should be born at all? Child is not the final outcome." They all talk different kinds of things. All kinds of things they talk. Every behavior, anything can be accommodated. He was prepared, behaving with me okay till this morning. Suddenly something happened. Some equation changed inside. Anything can happen. So when you know this asat vastu, over this asat vastu, you have no control because this Ishvara Srishti. You have full control over only the Sattvastu. One who knows this difference is called a fellow who understands the realities. One who understands the reality is a wise person. He handles things intelligently. Adana sato vidyate bhava. Now, what is the nature of this person, this being? What is the nature of this awareful being? Okay, let's read. अविनाशितु तत् विद्धि अविनाशितु तत् विद्धि येन सर्वमिदं ततं येन सर्वमिदं ततं Whole line. Avinashi tu tat vidhi yena sarvamidam tatam. Avinashi tu tat vidhi yena sarvamidam tatam. Vinashamavyayasyasya 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 न कश्चित् कर्तुमर्हति न कश्चित् कर्तुमर्हति. Whole line. विनाशमव्ययस्यास्य न कश्चित् कर्तुमर्हति विनाशमव्ययस्यास्य न कश्चित् कर्तुमर्हति. Whole verse. अविनाशि तु तत् विद्धि येन सर्वमिदं ततं विनाशमव्ययस्यास्य न कश्चित् कर्तुमर्हति अविनाशि तु तत् विद्धि येन सर्वमिदं ततं विनाशमव्ययस्यास्य न कश्चित् कर्तुमर्हति. Okay, so before we go into the details of this verse, there is something very important we have to understand. People, we know all these objects around us. Okay, these objects are known by operating our sense organs. Like I operate my eyes, yes, I am able to see this. I am able to touch, feel. So eyes, touching, smelling, hearing, tasting. Okay, all these are operating these sense organs. I know all the objects around me. This is known by a word. This is called Pramana Siddhi. Pramana Siddhi means they are known by operating the sense organs. So by operating a sense organ, I know all these things. They are called Pramana Siddham or Pratyaksha Pramana Siddham. Very often they will say, the Lord is Pratyaksham. He has got Hanuman Pratyaksham. That means Hanuman will come to his house. You can feel, touch, hug Hanuman. Only he can do. Then how can it be Pratyaksham? Pratyaksham means all of us should be able to hug Hanuman. That means it's not Pratyaksham. For him, it is Pratyaksham, means it's called Pratibhasikam, means it's some kind of a subjective reality. So, Pramana Siddham or sense-based knowledge. Okay, this is called Pratyaksha, direct operation of sense organs and knowledge happens. Pramana Siddham. Now, there is one more group of knowledge. For example, let's say we are here and let's say there is some smoke coming out of there. So what happens? I see smoke. I say there must be some fire there. That is called inference, anumanam. Oh, I see smoke, therefore I infer fire. So this is called anumanam. Then there is one more method of knowledge called upamanam. Let's say you are having a friend in the US and he has never ever come to India and he doesn't know anything about Indian sweets. You tell him there is something called laddu. So how will you explain laddu to him? You'll say it's like a golf ball, soft. Or squash ball, okay, like a squash ball. It is granular. When you bite, it will be sweet. Oh, how sweet? Like our donuts, much sweeter than your donuts. So I am going to constantly give it comparison. It is called upamanam. Like say there is an animal called, mythical animal called the phoenix. So how will the phoenix be? Phoenix be with a lion with some additional features. There's something called unicorn. How will a unicorn be? A horse with a single horn on the forehead. So you give a known object and add some features to that. That is called upamanam. Anumanam, upamanam. The third one is called arthapatti. Arthapatti means second level assumption. Okay. You see one phenomena, you say this could have happened, another thing could also have happened. For example, you are inside an air-conditioned room for 2-3 hours. Then you come out, it is bright and sunny, and one portion of the road is waterlogged. So now you say, obviously it has not rained because there is no rain everywhere. This portion alone is waterlogged. That means there must have been a pipe burst or something. It is called a second level assumption. It is called arthapatti. So take this phenomena, superimpose, yeah, this could have happened. That's why he is like this. Arthapatti. So anumanam, upamanam, arthapatti. Yeah, anumanam, upamanam, arthapatti. Then you have what is called anupalabdhi. Anupalabdhi means absence. Okay. How do I know? I know. Very often I say, I have forgotten my keys somewhere. How do I know I have forgotten my keys? Because they are not available with me. So non-availability. So anumanam, upamanam, arthapatti, anupalabdhi. These set of means of knowledge are called anumanam, adi, pramanam. Inferential knowledge. Okay. Both pratyaksham and inferential knowledge, means of knowledge are operated for me to know this world. How do I know myself? Body, yes. I'm able to operate sense organs. How do I know myself? Is it using sense organs? Is it using inference? Somebody said, I think, therefore I must be there. No, something seriously wrong. That means if you are thinking, you're not existent. And he said, no, I exist, therefore I think. It was changed. So now, how do you know you exist? Somebody said, hello, yeah, are you there? Yeah, I'm very much here. How do you know you're there? So now it is neither anumanam, none of these. For paroksham, anumanam, it is not covered. We use an expression called aparoksha jnanam. Aparoksha jnanam means it is immediate self-evident knowledge. That I am is called swata siddham, is known to me without operating any means of knowledge. I am is known to me. So this knowledge of the self is called swata siddham. There is no problem. But the problem starts after this. I know I am, but I don't know what I am. That is the problem. I know, yeah, I am there. So what am I? I'm acting through the body, so I must be the body. I live in this house, so I'm the owner of this house. I use a big car, therefore I'm the owner of the big car. If something happens to the house, I am affected. If something happens to the car, I am affected. If something happens to the body, God forbid, you are so concerned about your complexion, hairstyle. I saw somebody long back. There's absolutely no hair here. He has hair here. He has brought it all out and he's combing it down in the front. I told him what style it is. He said, no, it's all bald here, therefore I have pulled it forward. Yes. Because it's not acceptable. Baldness is not acceptable to him. Because he is seeing himself. He knows he is, but what is he? A bald person. You are seeing yourself through your body. So what is I? The self-evident I? What is the nature of the self-evident I? The nature of the self-evident I is avinashi, indestructible sat vastu. We talked about Atma, Satvastu, which ella anatma, everything else is anatma. You are Satvastu, Atma. The Satvastu, Atma, what is further qualifying nouns? See, when you're talking about Atma, he will say Atma, Satyam. Okay, Avinashi. Is Avinashi an adjective here? No, Avinashi is another noun. All these are called qualifying nouns in apposition to the main noun. Grammar part. So they are not adjectives. Okay. Avinashi, that means this Satyavastu, this Satyavastu has to be read as Aham. Atma. What is the nature of the Atma? The nature of the Atma is Avinashi, imperishable me. I am indestructible. Nobody can touch me. They can touch my body. They can maim my body. They can hurt my body. They can do mottai to me. They can take away my things. But you cannot touch me. You may take away a lot of things from me, but you cannot reduce me. You cannot shatter me. I am Avinashi. A great knowledge. He's talking about you. He's not talking about some next door mama. He's talking about you. Your nature. What is your nature? Atma. What is Atma? Satvastu. That Satvastu is never absent. And the nature of the Satvastu is Avinashi. Tu tat viddi, tat understand it to be you. Tat tvam asi, understand it to be you yourself. I'm talking about you. I'm talking about you. I'm talking about you. Now, this text, Bhagavad Gita, it is like a mirror or any reflecting surface. Okay, let's say we are going out from here, properly combed, dressed, everything. And just before we enter, as we go down to the lift lobby, there will be a big mirror there. We'll once again look into the mirror. Apadam, we would have brushed ourselves, we still look into the mirror. You get into the car, you look at the rear view mirror, look at yourself again. Sit into the car, inside the car, you look at the mirror, and any reflecting surface, you will say, am I looking okay? Am I looking okay? That is the attraction for your body. This says the attraction for the body is not for the body, but for the Vastu, for the Sattu Vastu, Avinashi. That is what is attracting you. Nobody keeps looking at the dead body half a dozen times. They cover their face and go and sit in the other room. Alive person, how are you? Oh, what's it here, You keep looking at the person alive. You keep looking at yourself, not this body, but the Sattvastu. Avinashi. That Avinashi makes you attractive. You are Avinashi. That is what makes you attractive. And when you relate to this Asatvastu, you don't like it. Because you know this is going to perish someday. Yeah, I'm Avinashi, man, you are relaxed. It is like telling, there was a military man. He was a major. So in one of these civil gatherings, they said, Captain so-and-so, he got annoyed, he walked away. Because I'm a major, how can you call me a captain? General reduce, it happened, one of these banks, they said, general manager was referred to as assistant general manager. He got annoyed, he said, I will not participate. Position, your body position, package, labeling, you are not happy. This is Avinashi, Atma, Avinashi. And you are relating the Atma to a body which is aging, which is becoming old. I think I was looking at my pictures 2 years ago with my granddaughter, last year, this year. Okay, my wife was saying, something has happened. I said, yeah, I'm growing older. What else is happening? As the granddaughter is growing, I am growing older. This body has only 3 features. Body has 3 G's. Okay, write it down. Growing, graying, going. There is no other thing possible. Anything happening in between is modification. You don't want to have the graying, so you can whitewash it or blackwash it. Graying, growing, graying, going. There is no other feature. And Atma is Avinashi. The Avinashi, you are looking at it to the graying, going, growing body. No. So therefore, rejection. I don't like this body. I want a body which will be not growing, not graying, not going. So now you have to have knowledge. That is Asatvastu. You cannot have that. You are Satvastu. Identify with the Satvastu. Let the Asatvastu go when it has to go. Suddenly, death, old age, all becomes Leela for you. Then you can say, age is just a number. Hey, come on. It's okay. Sharira Dharma. When my Swamiji was in his 80s, he was going through almost 3 days a week dialysis. Very painful. He was walking from his cottage to the dining room and back. So I asked him, Swamiji, how are you? For 83, I am fine, man. We are one-third his age and we are wondering, Swamiji is saying, I am fine. Just because somebody has a bald patch, that fellow wants to cover his head. I am okay. For 83, I am doing fine. So that means the more you identify with the asat vastu, the problem of the asat vastu will come on you. So if you identify myself with the body, I am growing, I am graying, I am going. I am fat, I am thin, I am not so tall. I was beautiful, I no longer am beautiful. That's why, see, look at that. You need validation. You need validation. This lady will look at her husband. The husband park. So she has to go to the next door neighbor and so, madam, gorgeous, madam. This fellow, this girl, people will have war. He wants validation from next door neighbor. All real problem because non-acceptance of the self. Because of the non-acceptance of the self, there is an industry, Fair and Lovely, they sold. It became a multi-millionaire company because you're not acceptable. My complexion is not acceptable. So Fair and Lovely. Your nail color is not acceptable. So Chayam. Lip color not acceptable. Paint it. The entire industry survives on your non-acceptance of yourself. It's okay. Makeup and things. That's why in India, we don't use the term makeup. We use the term alangaram. Alangaram means enhancing the beauty. Makeup means makeup for what you don't have. That's why it doesn't help. So, makeup for what you don't have. So, non-acceptance of the self, of the body. Then, non-acceptance of my emotions. I am not happy being off mood. I want to be perpetually in a happy mood, but I am not able to be. Okay. But I find, look, this is a genuine problem. This is a genuine problem. I counseled a person last year. And then it's so intense that I had to tell the person, please go to some other person. The person is happy being sad. They know you for second day. First day, hello sir, all fine. Second day, she will start talking about her problems. She will say, I am in a toxic marriage. Nobody respects me at home. Why? Because the more she talks about her problems, really, very, you're such a lovely person. And then they crave that attention. They're craving for the attention. They keep talking. I am suffering. I am suffering. I am suffering. I wanted to study this. My father passed away. Therefore, I had to study this, settle for this, get married. Oh, why such a gorgeous person. You would have somebody motivated, they will fire you. This action is because old car, you have to start it like axle. So, craving for attention. So you are craving for, why don't you go and tell the people I am very happy? No, because you don't get attention. When somebody says I am very sad, there's a lot of attention. So craving for attention based on body problems, mental problem, health problem. They say, doctor takes 5 minutes to do the appendicitis operation. This person takes 5 hours to explain it. Those days, when they used to do open heart surgery, people used to run 3-day seminars on how it was done. So, about your physical health, about your family problems, about your financial problems. Why do you get delayed? I was delayed on the way because of transport. Fine, this person loves to say, I was waiting. Ola went to the other side. I had to call him 3 times this side. So you crave attention. Crave attention because you are looking at yourself through this anatma. And this anatma, you don't want to be anatma because by nature you are atma. You are atma by nature. Water or a dharma is cold. So when you boil the water, it doesn't want to be hot. Therefore, it wants to quickly come back to its cold dharma. It will come back quickly. It will lose what is not its dharma and come back to its original state. Ice, water is again cannot be ice. You put it outside, it will come back to water state. Sapidity state, it will come back. So I am constantly, I want to be my Avinashi. But somehow I have identified with all the Nashi. So he says, please understand. Avinashi tu tat viddhi. Yena sarvam idam tatam. And it's because of the Atma that it is pervasive everywhere. It is the Atma because of which everything becomes evident. The Atma lights it up. It's revealed in the light of the Atma. Space. Atma is already there before space. Only then in the Atma, only in that awareful presence can space reveal itself. So, yena sarvamidam tatam. Everything is pervaded. And na kaschit vinasham arhati kartum. Nobody can touch this Avinashi. Nobody can touch the Atma. The Atma cannot be destroyed because of Avinashi, because it's a Satvastu, it is Atma, it is self-evident. All destruction is possible only in the Anatma. Asya Avayasya. This Atma, two conditions for this Atma, two nouns for this Atma, Satyavastu, Avinashi, Avaya. Okay, Avyaya. Avyaya means one which does not undergo any change. Avinashi, one which does not undergo destruction. Avyaya, one which does not undergo change. Bring it to us. Don't leave it as theory. Okay, what changes? Body. Vyaya will take place in the body. Growing, graying, going. Body dharma. It is called Sharira dharma. What are you? One who is aware of the Sharira. Sharira anatma, aham atma. This is your self-talk. This is your self-talk. Somebody comes and calls you, hello, Atma Dham pesh rahe hain. Your name is okay, but you can't say I'm Atma speaking. Then they will put you in Nimans. So you can't talk that language. That is for your self-talk. How are you? Yeah, the last 2 days I have been feeling a little weak. It's perfectly okay. That language is okay. That is the language you have to speak. Tamil solla, உடம்பு சரியில்லை, தபியத் ठीक नहीं है, you can. In English, you can't say the body is not okay for the last 2 days. You can't say. I'm not been feeling at my best for that. That's perfectly okay. That is called Vyavahara language. For the sake of language, understand this. You are able to see the sunrise. You are able to see the sunset. You understand the sun doesn't rise or set. It doesn't take away the beauty of the sunrise and sunset. Your knowledge accommodates what you see. The truth is that the sun neither rises nor sets. So in the light of the truth, the changes can be accommodated. I, the Atma, am changeless. I am indestructible. The changes that are happening, I can accommodate because the Atma functions through a changing platform. Fine, it's okay. This is how this body will function. The moment I say this is how it functions, the body naturally, as it is, becomes totally acceptable to me. Totally acceptable. In America, just for the sake of a nose job, people have made millions. All it takes is one accident for the nose to go. So, this yes, I function through this body. The body has limitations. Each body has a limitation of its own. Each body comes along with its own prarabdha. What is my prarabdha will not be your prarabdha. These are problems which we people face. When I walk with a walking stick, somebody will come, sir, you are an inspiration. Sir, I said, what inspiration am I, man? I'm walking with the walking stick or inspiration. I said, what is the inspiration? You are an inspiration, sir. You are also talking Bhagavad Gita. I said, you can also talk Bhagavad Gita. The stick has nothing to do with my Atma, with nothing to do with my knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita. So you're able to, yeah. I said, yes. If there are steps I find it difficult, 2 people can help me up, I can come. Just because I'm using a walking stick, how can I be an inspiration? You are an inspiration. What is an inspiration? Wheelchair, in your inspiration. Inspiration for what? Suppose on the wheelchair, I've done a world tour. You can say, yes, sir, you have done. You are inspiration. I come home, go back home and use the wheelchair. You are an inspiration. This is a problem, Many of us have to suffer all this. A lady becomes a top person. Say, lady Arvind, you have come to such a person. So what? Coming from an orthodox household, you have gone so what? What's there? These are nothing to do. You have that say, for the sake of speaking, some people have to speak. And some people like to all that. I know a person who will walk about with all this, and unless you tell him you are an inspiration, he is not happy. It happened a few days last year, I think last year or year before that. I did a stage performance somewhere. And after I finished, came down, one gentleman came. He was crying. He hugged me. I said, yeah, what's the problem? Yeah, I sang a happy song, and I think I sang it well. I said, I'm singing a Rafi happy song. Why are you crying? He said, nahi, Bhagwan ne aapko kya kar diya? I said, what happened here? What did he do to me? I'm perfectly. I was using a walking stick. He said, what has God done to you? I said, what has God done? God has given me the means to buy a $300 walking stick. I said, why are you worried about it? This thing cost me 20 years ago. It cost me $300. It would have cost it. Then Bhagwan has given me the means to buy. For of such much inspiration hai, sir. What is the inspiration? I said, just because you have to say something, you are sad with your body, you want to make me sad with my body. I am perfectly happy with my body, with my age, with its disability, ability, with its uses. I am perfectly happy with my body. This knowledge will come when you say, Avinashi tu tat vidhi. Know yourself, self-evidence, self to be Avinashi. This Avinashi functions through a body which is Anatma. What is the nature of the Anatma? Destructible. Growing, going. G, triple G. Fourth G, that become 4 Gs, 5 Gs we have to add. 3G, all of us have. It is there. I have this. This will come in time, go away in time. This is Anatma. Cannot give me peace, security, happiness. I have a lot of money. It will give you comforts. It can buy you a lot of comforts. But it cannot give you peace, security, happiness. Money can give you a lot of comforts. Fine, you can put 10 Mercedes-Benz car, you can keep 10 Mercedes-Benz. If none of the drivers come, gone. All your security gone, and you don't know how to drive. And you live in Tambaram, you're gone. Jameen Pallavaram, 10 Mercedes-Benz, no driver. Finished, stuck there. I used to know a person who used to stay in Ramavaram Gardens, those days, 20 years ago. She used to say, if driver does not come, we are imprisoned. Because we don't know how to drive, we don't know how to come out of the house. Stuck. So what is your money? Money can give you comfort. It can take you from place to place. Okay? Money, that's don't overvalue money, don't undervalue money. Some people say money is useless. I said, no, it's very useful. It is extremely useful. If you don't find it useful, I'll give you my account number. Please transfer. I have a lot of work for money. So, no overvaluation, no undervalue. Same thing. Don't overvalue your body. Don't undervalue your body. But many of us have these problems, and a lot of these problems. Many of our psychological problems happen because of non-acceptance of the body as it is. A really beautiful, attractive person. Suppose I tell, you're gorgeous. Or something happens to the person. Thank you. You know something? I'm married for 14 years. My husband has never appreciated. You know what is this? Deep-rooted psychological problem. Non-acceptance of the self. You have to tell the person, you look so young. So I found a way around that. So I have become very dear to a lot of people. So somebody said, you look, I said, no, you don't look young, you are young. They say, oh my God, what a great speaker he is. He's a real guru. Because I said, you are young. The attachment to the body. Attachment to how well you sing. Our approach gone. You can appreciate, I'm not saying no, you can appreciate somebody's singing ability and things like that. But if I'm going to peg my fullness, if I'm going to peg my nature to these objects, please understand, I am making a horrendous mistake. That mistake is called Ajnana, and from that Ajnana, the result is dukkha. So Krishna says, asochan. Your dukkha is illegitimate because it is not based on facts. It is not based on reality. You have attached your now your happiness you are attaching to the body, and you say, I am going to die. What a wrong conclusion. The body will die. You are going to be, you are always, I am not saying you are going to be alive, meaning where am I? So you are ever present. In your presence, birth, life, death happens. In your presence, the Panchabhutas come together, form a body. The Panchabhutas come together, form all these objects. Avinashitu tatvidhi, ena sarvamidam tatam, vinasham avayasya nakaschit kartu. You can't touch, you can't do anything to this Atma. The question goes to, you are talking about Bhishma, Drona. Please understand, Bhishma, Drona are bodies. The bodies will anyway perish. All of them are Atma. Your Atma. Actually, there is only one Atma. In this Atma, there are so many roles being played. It is like one screen in which there are so many actions going on. These actions have to end. The Atma remains. Fine. We will stop at this portion and see 18 next week. Antavanta ime deha. We will see in our next session. All these are heavily loaded, tough portions. So when I say Avinashi tu tatvidhi, you will have to say aham Avinashi. You have to look at it that way. I am not talking about some Avinashi sitting in the dining room or living room. I am talking about you, Avinashi. So your reading has to be Avinashi tu tatvidhi. You will have to say aham Avinashi. Aham avayayam. That means I don't change. I am changeless. But changes, yeah, body changes. I, the knower of the body, am changeless. This is supposed to be your self-talk. This is supposed to be your morning meditation. First, talk about yourself. I am an awareful being. I am indestructible. I am changeless. I am of the nature of awareness. I am the knower. Then open your eyes. By the use of the eyes, everything else becomes evident to me. I am, close your eyes. I am self-evident. This is how you have to do mananam and own up your self-knowledge. Krishna will teach you. Thereafter, we have to. Okay, va? We will do our Shanti mantra, and then if there are questions, we will take. Om Swasti Prajabhya Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahisha Go Brahmanebhya Shubhamastu Nityam Loka Samastha Sukhino Bhavantu Kale Varshatu Parjanyaha Prithvi Sasya Shalinim Desho Yam Shobharahitaha Brahmana Santo Nirbhaya Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santo Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritangamaya Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti 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 Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om Sadgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai स्वामी दयानंद महाराज की जय हो बोलो सब संतों की जय हो बजरंग बली की जय हो पवन पुत्र हनुमान की जय हो जय हो yeah if people have questions we can these are heavy portions very subtle you have to understand it carefully anybody wants to ask anything yeah can unmute and speak okay Yeah. Okay. If there are no questions, we will.
One minute.
Ah.
One minute.
Yes,
one
madam.
minute.
Sita Lakshmi. Yeah, madam.
See, actually, நீங்க சொல்ற மாதிரி இது ரொம்பவே கஷ்டமான சப்ஜெக்ட் இல்லைங்களே. அண்ட் அர்ஜுனன் வந்து அவன் வந்து ஒரு இந்திரனுடைய அம்சமா பிறக்கிறான். அவன் வந்து
ஓகே ஓகே.
சோ அவன் வந்து அம்சம் ஆஃப் தேவா. அவருக்கே வந்து தாத்தா பாட்டிங்கிற ஒரு அஃபினிட்டி, ஒரு அட்டாச்மெண்ட் இருக்கிற போது how is it possible for us to realize that Krishna is giving any way or method later in this Bhagavad Gita? Because for us to know, if something accident happens in the road, okay, we will call the doctor, that's all. And if something happening in your own family, then our whole body will start jerking. So for Arjuna, being a Amsam of Deva, he is finding it difficult. How can you overcome that? That is a biggest $1 million question, I think.
Yeah.
Reading is different, practicing is different, no?
Very correct. See, this Sita Lakshmi madam's question is very simple. She says, Arjuna, a character like Arjuna, who had Krishna as a teacher, such an exalted person, he himself found it difficult to accept the fact that his relatives can die. We are very ordinary mortals. How can we accept? Is there a way out? Yes, Krishna has other chapters coming in which he prepares you. He gives you the truth right away in the beginning. And then he tells you how to handle each problem. Okay. We have to, there are 3 types of people, or 4 types of people who come and learn the Skype. We have to first find out what category we are. One group will say, wonderful, sir, it is great. All of us come and they tell me, as I go home, I'll have a lot of mess. Wonderful, sir, great, sir, beautiful, sir. It is very nice, sir, but it is neither possible nor practical. Okay, one group. Another group will say it is possible, but not practical. The third group will say, it is possible and practical, but not possible for me. This fellow is the most difficult to handle. The last category says, it is possible, it is practical, and I understand, I can do it. This person is called a Tivra Mumukshu. The first is called ordinary, Manda Mumukshu. But I don't know how it will work. As our priorities start working, see, we have got ages and janma prarabdha in our system, which may prevent our clear understanding. So later on, Krishna will bring in karma yoga, he will bring in upasana, he will bring in dhyana. When we put all this, we have to do shravana. Shravana is not just listening, it's apply your mind when you are listening. It's active listening. Okay. Then you do manana. Manna means reflecting and listen to others' views as well. Then you do nitidhyasana, own up the whole thing. If Krishna took 18 chapters to explain to Arjuna, maybe it will take a lifetime. But they say, once the taste for Atma Vidya touches you, you will never, it will always be with you. It will follow you, whether you like it or not, it will follow you around. It will follow you around. Therefore, what should we do? Oh Lord, may I be able to pray this way. May I have unflinching commitment to the pursuit of knowledge. Because you are helpless. You have to only ask him. Like Krishna, Arjuna said to Krishna, Shadhi mam tvam prapannam, I surrender to you. Surrender to Ishvara and say, may I have unflinching commitment to pursuit of knowledge. Okay, many of us have lot of hopes, beliefs, all these things. They are pegged on so much of anatmas. So change that thought and say, may my beliefs, actions be pegged to realities. Let me do what is directly my duty. Because once the children grown up and things like that, they know how to live their life. I should have the maturity to let them see them grow the way they like. And third comes, when accidents or something like illnesses happen. Again, it's not in my hand. I have to pray. Oh Lord, may I be free from physical, emotional, psychological, or any financial, or may I be free from all kinds of trauma. You can have a beautiful one-line mantra. Sarva upadrava rahita jivanam dehi. May my life be free from upadravas. Sarva upadrava rahita jivanam dehi. So when you live a prayerful life and an awareful life, mindful life, suddenly in a database, there's a lot of space created in database. Atma will reveal itself to you. That is how we have to approach.
1 minute. Thank you, Ji. Another question.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah,
can we
please tell
say
me.
that? Can we say that now Arjuna, now in this chapter, he is in a position possible, not practical. In that case, as per your
Okay.
explanation,
Yeah.
can I
In
say that
chapter,
Arjuna is
in chapter 1, he did not get this knowledge at all. Okay. He is saying, I am not able to do it. No, his answer is no. But once he gets exposed, now Arjuna is being exposed to this knowledge. We are only hearing Bhagavan Uvacha. We have not yet heard Arjuna Uvacha. As of now, Bhagavan is speaking. Arjuna is listening. At the end of Bhagavan's lecture, we will have Arjuna Uvacha. We will have his questions.
Okay.
Then we will understand. He will say, wonderful, I am able to appreciate the whole thing. But can you tell me practically how will it be?
Okay.
The question, the question you asked, Arjuna asks.
Okay.
He says, Krishna, I'm excellent, Krishna. You're talking about me. I am glorious. Everything is fine. You say, I am a Sthitadhi, I am a Muni. Everything is fine. But how do I relate to practically? How do I live this lifestyle? Can you tell me how such a person will be? The question comes. At that point, it will come. Arjuna uvacha sthita pragyasya ka bhasha samadhistasya keshavaha sthita dhikkim prabhasheta kimasita vrajeta kim. The person who has this knowledge, how will he look like? How will he walk? How will he eat? How will he sleep? Simple. Is it practical? We listen to that. But I'm very happy.
Thank you very
I'm
much.
very happy.
Thank you very
I'm
much.
very happy, Yuresh. Oh,
Okay.
wonderful. Bless. Oh.
Okay. Namaste.
Thank you, sir.
Namaste.
Namaste.
No.